Morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever this finds you. Welcome to the 70th Emerging Growth Conference and day one of our two-day super virtual investor conference. I'm Anna Berry, host of the conference today. All right, just a few notes. Today, we're running until 5 p.m. Eastern. And when we switch to the next company, if you see a black screen for a moment, don't go anywhere. That's just us moving over to the next presenter. Obviously, if you experience downtime for more than a minute, refresh your browser. Everything usually works properly once you do that. And our platform does work best on Google Chrome. So if you're watching from an Apple device, you have to hit the play button to start the session. Now, all of our conferences are uploaded to our YouTube channel. So please subscribe, youtube.com/emerging growth conference. Now today, during each company's presentation, you can submit questions through our webcast module, and we will attempt to address as many of these as possible at the end of the presentation. Let's begin. We're starting with Owlet Inc. It trades on the New York Stock Exchange under the symbol OWLT and was founded by a team of parents in 2012 with a mission to empower parents with the right information at the right time to give them more peace of mind and help them find more joy in the journey of parenting. Happy to welcome Kurt Workman, founder and CEO, and Kate Skolnick, CFO. Welcome to the conference. I'm so excited to hear about this company as a parent myself. So welcome, both of you.
Thank you so much for having us.
All right. Well, Kurt, I'm going to give you the floor. Start the presentation whenever you're ready. And when you're ready for some questions from our viewers, call me back and we'll start that after you.
That sounds great. So I am over in the presentation. Can you see my slides?
Yes, we can.
Yes. Okay, great. Okay, awesome. Well, it's great to be here today and really grateful for the opportunity. I want to tell a little bit about our story, our founding story, and then where the company's at today. So we'll just move forward here. I'm a dad. I've got 3 kids. And right before our oldest was born, we were worried that our kids might have a heart defect that my wife has. She's had 3 heart surgeries. And when she was a baby, they didn't detect it. So they sent her home from the hospital. A few days later, her mom found that there was an issue. They rushed her to the hospital and did heart surgery that day that saved her life. And so I remember, as we were, starting our family, we were worried that, our kids would have the same thing, and just looking out like what was available. How do you actually assess your child's health at home? And at the time, the only things that were available were these little audio monitors and thermometers. And I learned about this technology called pulse oximetry that they use in the hospital. It's that little red light that they put on your finger. And through light, you can tell how well somebody's breathing, what their oxygen is, what their heart rate is. It's now pretty ubiquitous in wearable devices, but at the time it was just in the hospital. Now that's incredible that through light, you can tell that amount of information. And so we came up with the idea of the Owlet sock that would wrap around your baby's foot and track their heart rate and oxygen. There's over 140 million babies born globally each year, and every parent, doesn't matter where your child is born, you have the same fundamental concerns. It's like Maslow's hierarchy of parenting needs. First, you have to know that they're safe. You have to know that they're healthy, and then you need a good night's sleep. Parents lose 44 nights of sleep a year. They're exhausted. I went through more training to get a driver's license than I did to become a dad. Kids get sick really often. It's 8 to 10 times in the first few years. There's a lot of healthcare visits. You're constantly wondering, okay, do I need to check in with the doctor or not? And underlying all that is a safety concern. There's about 4,000 babies that pass away every year unexpectedly in the crib from SUIDs, which is sudden unexpected infant death. It's about 40 times as common as car accident fatalities, actually, and yet every baby goes home with a car seat. So you have an exhausted, untrained caregiver who's dealing with a lot of health issues at home, and it creates one of the highest rates of healthcare utilization of any other time of life. There's over 100 million pediatric visits every year. The majority of those are in the first, few years of life. 97% of these visits are treat and release visits. They're essentially peace of mind visits where parents are just taking their baby, they're putting him in a car seat for 2 hours, taking him into the ER or into the pediatrician's office just to have them assess and make sure that this respiratory infection or this fever isn't serious, and then they take him home. It's a really inefficient way to go about this. The rates of SUIDs have not changed in over 25 years. The rate of RSV has increased in the last few years. And so we believe that, the ability to move this information and this triage and care to the home can help us detect problems earlier and can help avoid unnecessary hospital visits. On top of that, there's over 70 million adults that have a wearable of some form on their wrist or on their body to track their health. And parents are asking for the exact same information for their children. So there's a big technology wave where especially millennials know that this information exists. And as they become parents, they're looking for it for their own children. And that's where Owlet comes in. Owlet is the first and the only FDA cleared pediatric health monitor available on the market. It's this little sock that wraps around the baby's foot. We track the baby's heart rate and oxygen, skin temperature, sleep quality. Through our camera, we're able to get a lot of environmental data. So all that information that you could get in the doctor's office is now available at home. It's FDA cleared, and you can and then you can share that data back with your doctor. This helps parents answer these fundamental questions. Is baby okay? If baby's oxygen or heart rate go outside of preset zones, they get an alarm so they can go check on baby. So if the baby's hypoxic, experiencing bradycardia or tachycardia, we have FDA approved alarms for that. We gather and trend all the data. So as your baby's, going through sickness or you want to assess their health, you have all that data at your fingertips. And we use all that data to build a comprehensive sleep coach that's personalized for your child. So instead of having to read a bunch of books or hire a sleep coach, this actually uses your baby's sleep data to recommend optimal nap times and windows and give tips and tricks to help sleep coach babies. So we're using AI, we're using machine learning algorithms to do all of this to be really accurate and personalized for each child. We recently got the FDA approvals actually at the end of last year. We got 2 approvals or clearances. The first one is for the Dream Sock. That's an over-the-counter device that's sold through retail online, Amazon, Target, Walmart, Babylist, all the mass retail doors. And it's actually the first time the FDA has ever approved an over-the-counter health monitor for babies. So we're really excited about that. That was a de novo clearance that happened in November. We also got a prescription clearance for our product BabySat. It's based on the same technology. This is for babies that are higher risk or that are sick that a doctor can prescribe and insurance companies will reimburse. So that opens up a whole new opportunity for new channels in DME and medical channels, telehealth partnerships, selling into provider networks. Children's hospitals have reached out and want to use the BabySat instead of these big clunky boxes with cords that go into the crib. And it's eligible for insurance reimbursement. We are, I think, in the perfect position to become the platform for pediatric health. We have the #1 health monitor in our category. Our net promoter scores or customer satisfaction is similar to the iPhone or Netflix. We have over 500,000 users of the product, real revenue, 3 FDA authorizations, and 3 authorizations, 2 FDA. We just announced our CE medical clearance. We've done dozens of clinical studies. We have over 1 million followers on social media. We've sold over 2 million devices. We've collected one of the largest data sets of infant health that's ever been collected. And we really believe that data flywheel continues to be our moat on top of the patents and the regulatory clearances and the brand. We collect this data. We use the data to improve the product's accuracy, to launch new features, which makes it more compelling, which then we sell more devices and get more data. So even if you can catch up to our hardware, you need the data to match the value. And we believe that's a real moat in this category. And it's one of the reasons why Owlet stands apart significantly from the competition. Another part of our story is that we went public through SPAC in 2021. One of the reasons that we recently got FDA clearance is that the FDA asked us to reclassify the device from a general wellness product to a medical device. And that was a costly activity. And so what we've done is we've really focused over the last 2 years on driving down our costs in the business. We've brought our OpEx down by almost 70%. We've brought our cost per acquisition and marketing down by 80%, while growing our sell-through by 20%. And that allowed us to get to near adjusted EBITDA break even in Q4. And the goal is to be profitable this year. So a lot of operational work has gone into this business. We're very disciplined. And with the recent FDA clearances, we now have the ability to grow significantly while maintaining our cost basis to drive to profitability. So as we move forward, 2023 was a good year for us. We believe because of the FDA clearance that came in at the end of the year, there's baseline growth. We reported in Q4, we saw 100% sell-through growth year over year in holidays. We just reported our Dream Sock is up 60% year over year in sell-through demand. There's an underlying core growth from the FDA clearances with the new features, the ability to make new claims, and just the trust that gives parents with the device. It's opening up the bottom of our funnel. From there, there's two real opportunities to drive growth and margin in the business. One is this new medical sales channel with hospitals. We've had a lot of children's hospitals reach out. We just launched our first partnership with Adapt Health. They're a nationwide DME. We've integrated 70% of the private payers into Adapt Health for BabySat, and we're now just starting to get into that motion on medical sales. That represents a really big opportunity in the market at higher margins. And then on top of that, we've announced we're launching a subscription service this summer that will add additional revenue and margin to the business. And we're really targeting this operating model where we're seeing adoption from FDA clearances. We've got the margin from med channels and the new revenue, and we have the subscription margin to drive a real profitable, healthy company that's sustainably growing in the market. And I really believe we have the team to do this. I'm the CEO. Jonathan Harris is our president and CRO. Took GoPro from 18 million to $1 billion in sales. Kate is our CFO. She's been in hardware and logistics companies that are public for many years. Borsch has been in IoT. We have a fantastic board, and it's really an exciting time for our company right now. The winds definitely feel like they have shifted with the FDA clearances, and we're in a growth mode. So happy to take any questions.
Just a moment.
Welcome, everyone. So sorry my internet went out and I re-logged in. All right. You ready for questions?
That's right. Yep.
Okay, let's jump in. To start, so in January, you announced FDA clearances for 2 devices, the Dream Sock and BabySat. So congratulations on that announcement of receiving that CE mark approval in the EU for the OTC sock. So speak a little bit about these clearances and how this impacts your company positioning, your commercialization efforts in Europe, and what new markets you foresee down the road.
Yeah, I think it makes it's probably the biggest impact for this category since the launch of our product. Owlet is the first company to get FDA clearance for a health monitor for babies that can be used at home by parents, which means that parents, one, can trust the device. That's the most important thing in this category is trust. The second thing is that they can share data with their doctor, and they now have access to a bunch of additional features, including real-time monitoring of oxygen levels and alarms for oxygen and heart rate. And those things have really opened up the middle part of our funnel from a consumer perspective. They've addressed parents' biggest objections, and that's why we're seeing the sell-through lift that we're seeing, even though we're not spending more money, we're not in new channels, we're seeing real growth in the business because our messaging, our product features, and our claims have a lot more traction and weight, and we're taking more market share from other companies. So it's a really exciting time. Now's the time for that explosive growth, both in the U.S. and in Europe. We're now CE medical cleared in Europe. It has the same effect there in terms of overcoming objections and creating the most, I think, trusted technology and product in the market. The other thing that our prescription clearance does is that opens up a whole new market for us. It gives us the ability to sell directly into hospitals as a take-home monitor for higher risk babies. It gives us the ability to work with this large network of DMEs across the country that can distribute the device and integrate with insurance. So if I'm a parent that's leaving the hospital with a NICU baby, I can get an Owlet reimbursed by insurance and go home with it without having to come out of pocket for that in a lot of cases. So that's really exciting. That's going to be another explosive growth channel for us. And then lastly, because we can use the data now in a telehealth setting, it's FDA approved, doctors can rely on it. That opens up our subscription service that we've been talking about for a long time, because we can now integrate that data with care and help to address some of these issues around, respiratory care and sleep that we haven't been able to do in the past. So it really opens up a whole new, 3 whole new areas of growth for the business.
Pauline Banks asks, is this the only baby wearable of its kind? And do other companies have them for other data points?
I would say there's a couple copycats of Owlet, some products from China that have come in. Owlet really is the only one that has real market penetration in terms of the wearable that monitors heart rate and oxygen. There are some cameras that do try and detect the motion of the chest while the baby's sleeping. Owlet really is the first one to get the FDA approval, which means that the kind of real-time accuracy of the product is there. The ability to share data with the doctor, it really kind of sets us apart on top of being the category leader and the category creator to begin with. So there are a few others, but Owlet is by far the leader in this category.
Roxanne Dean asks about the FDA approval. What is that approval or clearance process for a wearable like this like?
Yeah, I mean, essentially the FDA wants to know that for the de novo, which is the over-the-counter, they have to know that the benefits outweigh the risks and that the product is safe and accurate. And so we did a lot of safety studies on the product. We had to do 4 different accuracy studies with the product on adults, 2 on infants at home, and then 1 in the hospital to really just measure against with adults blood gas draws, and then in the hospital against the hospital monitor. So we were able to prove that our product is just as accurate as the monitoring that you get in the hospital. And then, another really important thing with this technology, there's been a lot in the news about, equity, especially across different skin tones, and there's bias in pulse oximetry, with different skin tones. So we had to show in 3 different studies that our product was accurate across the whole range of skin pigmentation. And Owlet did very, very well with that. I think the FDA was really pleased with it. So there's a lot of different clinical studies that we did, and Owlet performed really well.
And Nora Kennedy asks a few questions, saying you seem to be in many retail, brick and mortar and online locations. So talk a little bit about the growth plan.
Yeah, so in those, I think we've got really good distribution in the United States. This year, we're focused on expanding our presence in those locations. So we just opened up another 1,000 Walmart doors. We're getting end caps in 1,000 Walmart doors now. So really getting prominent display across all these retailers. We're top shelf in Walmart now with our own health monitor category that's branded. So really trying to up level our presence in retail is a big part of it. We're going hard after registry. That's a big component to baby product sales. Our registry, for example, at BabyList is up 60% year over year. We're really pushing that hard. And then opening up these new DME medical channels as well.
And how has the reception been specifically for the BabySat from doctors? Example, like with prescription volumes. Who is prescribing it?
Yeah, pediatricians are prescribing it. So we've had hundreds of pediatricians prescribe the device already, which is exciting. We're having a lot of pediatricians now recommend DreamSock for families that may not be high risk, that have a concern or want monitoring at home. That's totally new for Owlet. Being a consumer device, pediatricians don't touch it. They don't recommend it. We're now seeing the exact opposite, where babies who are high risk are getting prescriptions for BabySat. Doctors like that it's wireless, that it's the form factor is so easy to use. All the data syncs to their smartphone. So that's the convenience of our technology over these big bulky boxes is a no-brainer, and pediatricians really like that. There's a huge, issue with compliance in home monitoring. Families that get a home monitor, pretty quickly they ask the doctor how long they have to use it. It ends up in the closet because there are so many false alarms. There's so many intrusions to parents' life. And Owlet is, it's 100th the size. It's wearable and wireless. It's 1/10 the cost. It just makes so much more sense over sending a hospital monitor home with a baby.
Nora Kennedy also wants to know about your sales team, if you can talk about them.
Yeah. So this partnership that we signed with Adapt Health gives us access to a sales force of 300 people. So on the medical side, we're doing that through partnerships. They've got relationships with over 100 hospitals in the United States. We're signing on more partners. So that's our process there. We have a couple people in-house that have medical sales background and have done this. For example, at Medela, the largest breast pump manufacturer, they've opened up all these DME channels before. On the consumer side, we have a sales team of about 5 people that deal with all of our major accounts and sell into the major accounts. We have great relationships there at this point. They've been working with Owlet for 7 years and really love the company.
And with that, speak a little bit about how the 2 FDA cleared devices created almost a new medical sales channel opportunity, and what your strategy will look like on the medical device side versus the consumer side.
Yeah. So prior to getting that clearance, it's really strictly consumer distribution. Now that we have the BabySat approval, which is the prescription device, hospitals can now stock this in their supply closets. That's very different. Durable medical equipment suppliers, which there are, hundreds of different suppliers, but there's some really big ones that do a lot of work, especially with breast pumps. Breast pumps are now reimbursable by insurance, so every parent can get access to one. So there's this huge network of durable medical equipment suppliers that are servicing moms that are getting these breast pumps. So they're really in the perfect spot to also help distribute BabySat. It opens that up. And then children's hospitals that deal with kids who are really sick are also very interested in the technology because it's just, convenience. A lot of times they won't even recommend a home monitor because they're so intrusive. It's really just for the most severe cases. With BabySat, now you can get the benefit of home monitoring without all the downsides. And so it opens up a lot of specialty programs as well for the business.
Let's go back to the Dream Sock. Can you highlight some of the more advanced features of the Dream Sock and talk a little bit about how it compares with its competitors out there?
Yeah, so we monitor every second. We're monitoring babies' heart rate, oxygen saturation, temperature, sleep and sleep quality, and then activity through the sock. Through the camera, you're obviously getting live video, audio, and all the environmental data like room temperature, humidity, light levels. So we're able to pull all that data and collect it in our cloud, and then use AI algorithms to look for areas where we need to notify parents. So we have our sleep assist prompt. If baby seems to be woken up and agitated, you can go in and soothe your child. We have our health notifications, so if the baby is hypoxic, if they've stopped breathing, if there's some obstruction that might be causing their oxygen to drop, you'll get an immediate alarm and you can go check on baby. Babies are unsupervised for 50% of their life. That first year they're sleeping. And so just the peace of mind of knowing that, Owlet's up all night, so you don't have to be, provides tremendous value. And then all that data gets charted over time, so you can go back and look at it. So if your baby's sick, you can take this into your doctor and say, I can see that the baby's oxygen level is dropping down into the 80s while they sleep at night. And we've had a lot of cases where parents had no idea that was happening. The baby was getting to dangerously low oxygen levels. And through that data, they were able to get, home oxygen therapy, or the baby was admitted because they needed support. So really, really excited about now having this data for parents. And, the biggest thing it does for 99% of parents is it just helps them sleep better. We had 6 parents come into the office and draw their life before Owlet and draw their life after Owlet. And they all drew the same after Owlet picture, which was them laying down, with Z's coming out of their head. And they're like, I put my head on the pillow and I just get deeper sleep knowing that I have, that I have Owlet. So
sounds like a great commercial. if you do that. You also announced a partnership with a telehealth service. So tell us a little bit about that and what opportunities that will open up.
Yeah, so on our online platform, you can go onto our website and connect with the doctor basically immediately. And if your child has a medical condition or a need for monitoring, you can actually get a prescription through our website, through our partnership with Wheel, directly with the doctor. And then that feeds right into our partnership with Adapt Health. So they'll take that, verify the prescription, and then they will do the work with your insurance company to get the reimbursement. So all you have to do is really just get onto the website, chat with the doctor, and then everything else is handled by Adapt.
And Mercedes Shaw asks this, and we can hash it out into different parts, but so is this a one-time purchase by the consumer, or is there a recurring revenue stream? Is it a subscription? Kind of break down that, and if there is a potential for a subscription model.
Yeah, today it's a one-time sale, so it's $300. Our Duo is $400. We are launching this summer. We've just announced this. We're launching our first subscription service, which will be a layer inside of the app that you can subscribe to. We haven't announced the price yet, but it'll be a monthly fee. And you'll get access to new insights and reports through the device, more storage with the camera, for example. And then we'll start to do integrations with telehealth, sleep coaching, and partnerships that can actually leverage those insights and data to drive recommendations and solutions in the app.
Great. And talk a little bit about your financials, particularly how you're managing your margins, increasing adoption growth, and driving profitability.
Kate, you want to take that one? My voice is gone.
Sure. Sure. So we've set out some specific goals regarding our revenue growth, margins, and profitability that we set out last year, and we've continued for this year. So our stated margin goals are between 45 and 50%. Our profitability goal we're marching towards is adjusted EBITDA loss profitability. We've continued to improve that over 2023, and we'll get closer to that in 2024. And our revenue growth in Q1, we just posted, we'll continue to do that in 2024. Over 2023, as Curtis mentioned, we have several opportunities that are going to be fueling that, including the clearances that we have domestically, our recent clearance in Europe, and then also the new channels that we've opened up, just as Kurt has gone through with our medical channels that are just opening up. They'll be continuing through the year, and then as we launch our subscription service. So we're really excited about the health of our business as we're starting out the year, and we believe this will continue to improve as we go forward in 2024.
Anna, I think you might be on mute.
There's my mute. Sorry about that. Can you hear me, see me? Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, speaking of all of that great future success, Nettie, a viewer says the product seems to be having great success. So what is next? And how do you expand on this? Are you adding new products?
I think one of the things we're really excited about is, the fact that we're only at about 8% adoption in the United States and even lower in Europe. So there's so much room for growth just in the United States. We believe that eventually every baby will have access to a health sensor like Owlet, similar to, the fact that everybody gets a breast pump reimbursed by insurance. Everybody has a thermometer. Everybody has a stroller. Everybody, goes home with a car seat. You can't not go home with a car seat. So we think this is a category where when something improves the health or safety of infants, it sees category adoption. So we're going to focus on adoption. We believe there's a lot of growth through adoption. We're also really excited about the new med sales channels. That opens up not only, the more adoption in a specific market, but it also opens up new business models as we're collecting the data and can build models with these provider networks. And then subscription is another area. We've collected one of the largest data sets of infant health, And we have a ton of insights in health and sleep that have not yet been surfaced to the consumer. So we're going to spend a lot of time with our data science and algorithms and software to continue to drive additional value, which I think will be a kind of a virtuous cycle of the more value we add, the more adoption we'll drive, the more clinical data we'll get, the more value we'll add, and it'll just continue to build. So we feel like we're in a model right now that has a lot of growth potential. Beyond that, we'll continue to innovate with new devices, and kind of long-term, our market is conception to kindergarten, and how do we help hold parents' hand along that journey?
Wonderful. Well, such meaningful work. We're so happy that you guys have joined us on the conference, and we would absolutely love to follow you along with some updates in the future.
Awesome.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for having us.
All right. Thank you both for joining us, and stay with us, everyone. We'll be back at noon with NCS Multistage Holdings. We'll be back soon.